The gentleman's agreement among Japanese automakers in the 1980s and 1990s is a fascinating chapter in automotive history, driven by a mix of marketing strategy, safety concerns, and a sense of social responsibility. This informal pact was born out of Japan's socio-political landscape during the 1980s. Concerns were growing about environmental impact and road safety, with the government and public becoming increasingly aware of the dangers posed by high-speed cars on the country's densely populated roads. Japanese manufacturers, keen on maintaining a positive image and avoiding government intervention, sought to self-regulate. They aimed to strike a balance between their competitive spirit and the need for social responsibility. So they all got together. There were talks between some of the legends of the industry, and they all agreed on certain aspects which would take effect on future sports cars. Under this gentleman's agreement, Japanese automakers voluntarily limited the maximum power output and top speeds of their vehicles. And under these new rules, a 280 horsepower limit would be introduced. You see, all cars produced after this agreement was made were not to exceed 280 horsepower in their domestic market versions. This seemed like an arbitrary number, but was chosen as a way to limit the power of sports cars while not drastically impacting other segments. But they didn't stop at horsepower figures. Vehicles would also have a speed limiter installed, restricting them to a maximum of 180 km per hour. This limitation was intended to address safety concerns regarding high-speed driving on Japan's crowded highways. And that's why most of the JDM Legends gauge clusters end at 180 km per hour. Now, weirdly, the gentleman's agreement era is known to produce some of the best sports cars ever to grace our roads. This era of Japanese sports cars were known for their agility and balance rather than brute force. Some of the vehicles produced in this time include the Nissan Skyline GTR R32, equipped with the famous RB26 DETT engine, a legendary engine known for being super tunable and also known for its beautiful exhaust note. Now, this motor in its stock form produced a purported 276 horsepower. However, it was an open secret that it exceeded this figure. In fact, they made around 280 horsepower to the wheels. With its all-wheel drive system and advanced technologies, this car dominated motorsports all around the world. But that's just one of the legends born through this era. Another is the Toyota Supra Mark IV, and the fourth generation Supra adhered to the 276 horsepower limit. Sort of. You see, you got two versions of the Supra, the JDM spec and the rest of the world. Now, the JDM spec one made 280 horsepower, but had smaller injectors, different turbos, and a different ECU tune, where the rest of the world got a 326 horsepower version of the 2JZ. Now, the 2JZ was and still is renowned for its crazy tuning potential. I mean, these motors are stupid strong and can produce over 1000 horsepower on stock internals. These things are no joke. Then, before we go on with the video, there is another car I feel I need to mention that was born in this era. This car didn't get as much love as the rest of them, but in my opinion, it is one of the coolest cars born through this era. The Mitsubishi GTO, or 3000 GT. This Mitsubishi flagship sports car was an example of Japanese engineering excellence. It was absolutely packed to the brim with technology, featuring a G-Track all-wheel drive gearbox system, all-wheel steering, adaptive sports suspension, active aerodynamics, and a 276 horsepower twin-turbocharged V6 engine. Unfortunately, all of the technology made it kind of heavy, but damn, they look good, and I do feel like they need more recognition. Anyways, while many manufacturers adhered to the agreement spirit, some ventured into a grey area. They claimed that their cars had exactly 276 horsepower, but the actual power would be just over that, or it would make that number but on the wheels instead of on the motor. The top speed thing was also easily bypassed, and when the limiters were disabled, the cars could easily reach really high speeds. I mean, the Toyota Supra with its sequential turbochargers could go up to 177 miles per hour with no speed limiters. That's 284 kilometers per hour, which is 100 km per hour over the agreement. And as I said, it's not very difficult to disable. Now, the gentleman's agreement gradually faded in the late 1990s. This change was partly driven by the increasing globalization of the automotive industry. This, combined with the emergence of more stringent emissions and safety regulations and the desire to compete more aggressively in international markets, marked the end of this gentleman's agreement. While the agreement is no longer in force, it remains a fascinating chapter in the history of Japanese performance cars. It played a significant role in shaping the image and reputation of Japanese automakers and contributed to the development of legendary sports cars that enthusiasts continue to admire to this day. At the end of the video, please let me know what you thought of it. Did I miss something? And what is your favorite car to come under this agreement? Let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys did like it, you most probably like most of my other stuff. So just go through my channel, see if there's something else you like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers, eh?